Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've had to sit through 2 speeches already, but James has been a prize plonker for most of his life. So I've got an awful lot of stories tonight, so if you can get comfortable, sit tight, you're going to be here for a while. James. Oh, sorry. Seems like someone's made a bit of a note on my speech. Just 1 second, sorry. Dear Phil, I snuck into your room last... Shush! I snuck into your room last night while you and Anna were asleep, and I had a little read through your speech. I found it rather distasteful and most of the material very inappropriate. If you won't mind getting rid of all the bits about sex, ex-girlfriends, drugs and criminal activity, that would be great. Lots of love, smiley face. James's mum, Jill. Jill. One sec, right. Well, that's got to go. That's got to go. That's got to go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Don't make yourselves too comfortable. This is going to be really, really quick. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Phil. I'm one of James's many friends, but I am the only one who can read and write my own name. So I was an obvious choice for this speech tonight. Now, I do feel slightly under pressure. As some of you may know, James was the best man at my wedding last year. He did a pretty good job. We're quite competitive people, so obviously I want my speech to be just as good as James's was. However, James did say that if I do really well today, then I can definitely be best man at his next wedding. Charlotte, you look incredible today. I'm not the first. I'm not the first, and I definitely won't be the last person to comment on how amazing you look. You're a stunning girl, you make a beautiful bride, and today you look particularly radiant. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you can agree that today is a sad day for single men across the world, as another unbelievable woman is crossed off the available list. James, you look all right. Not bad. Pants all right, yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you will agree that it is surprising the kind of suit you can pick up on the bargain shelf at Aldi. Charlotte, you are what most people would describe as a catch, and you truly deserve a husband to match. That man should be handsome, intelligent, successful, and charismatic. And until you find that man, James is just going to have to do. There's loads more, yeah. Phil and Melanie, I think you should be congratulated on raising such an accomplished, caring, and strong woman as Charlotte. You've done a fantastic job. John and Jill, you two should be congratulated, but probably given a medal for just sticking with James for this long and doing the best that you could. But you have got Sarah, though, so swings and roundabouts and all that. Now, there comes a time in every man's life when he meets that special someone, that person who completes them, who they just can't live without, and who gives their life meaning. For James, that moment came 17 years ago when he met me. It was a damp and dark evening on a Tesco car park in Walkden, and through the crisp evening air came the dullest of tones saying, that was not meant to be as dry as that. Yes, yes, welcome to KFC drive-thru. Can I take your order, please? Yes, it was James. Probably should have had a drink. Now, at this point, I need to make you all aware that James is not his only name. I'm actually struggling to use it. We never call him James. He's got many names, does James, such as Jay, J-Dog, J-Dizzle, J-Rule, J-Cloth, Jim Bob, Ratty, Batty, Twatty, Batty Boy, Batty Rider, Battiguan, Battersley, Les Battersby, Batman, Ratman, Fatman, Rattle, Battle, Bartful, Bruce Lee Nips, MC Rice and P, The Rule Book, Ken Trevor, or Keith. Keith! Sorry, Keith, where is he?
Keith!
Sorry, mate.
I just happened to get a brother-in-law called Keith after all. Thanks, Keith.
For the purpose of this speech, I'll mainly be using Batty or Jay. So anyway, we pulled around the drive-through and hanging out the window was Batty, with a uniform that has never seen a washing machine or even looked at an iron. With only one front tooth, his hat slightly tilted, he greeted us with a half Jamaican, half Salford accent, saying, "Yes, what a go on, me breaders." Anyway, after only ordering one small fries between the three of us, we eventually drove away with a family feast bucket, 2 zinger burgers, 3 large fries and a chocolate Viennetta. This forever became known as a Batty special. I have to say, after that first meeting, I thought this guy is a bit special. Anyway, I gave the lad a chance, and over the next 17 years, I got to know the good, the bad, and the ugly of a Mr. James Batty. Now, Jay would not be the first to say that he isn't the most intelligent person in the world. However, he would be the first to say that he's definitely, without question, right about absolutely everything. So over the years, I imagine he thinks he's taught most of the lads a thing or two. Just to clarify, it's 2. That's it. First, he taught us the valuable lesson of how best not to park a car in a garage. Now, being Batty, he's always late. He thinks he isn't, but he is. Making us wait at his house while he charges round getting dressed and finding his wallet does not constitute being ready. So anyway, on a Friday afternoon, we were all waiting outside his house. On a Friday afternoon, we were all waiting outside his house, his mum and dad's house, ready to travel to Wales for a camping weekend. Jay, being late as usual, was racing around trying to finish getting ready. Sure, last thing on his list, put his dad's car in the garage. Sure enough, out of the house comes Jay. Front door locked, hops in John's Audi. Wheel spins John's Audi into the garage. Garage door down, bags in the van. Argues with us about shotgun rights for the front seat of the van. Makes up a new rule about shotgun rules for the front seats of the van. Relinquishes the front seat of the van, gets in the back of the van, done. Finally, everyone leaves to go to Wales. Anyway, fast forward to Sunday morning. Sarah's at home alone. John and Jill are on holiday trying to relax, but all the while knowing that Jay is unaccompanied somewhere in the UK, probably causing havoc. So they're not really relaxing. Sarah looks out the kitchen window, and to her horror, there is smoke pouring out of the garage. She goes to investigate and realises that the smoke is actually exhaust fumes. And on Friday afternoon, when Jay raced to park the car, he forgot the really important stage of turning off the engine. Nearly 48 hours that car sat idling for. It's lucky this... Yeah. It's lucky that Sarah wasn't overcome with the gases as she tried to rectify another of Jay's classic brain farts. Lesson number 1 he taught the group, always turn the engine off when parking a car. Now, Jay's second lesson only came last year. In fact, he was on my stag do in Lisbon. For anyone that knows Lisbon, it's known as the city of the 7 hills. So it made sense for us to hire some bikes to get around on. Now, on this particular night, we'd all been out since the afternoon, we'd had a bit to drink, and you could say we were pretty drunk. James, however, was a little bit more drunk than others. He was doing the 1 step forward, 2 steps back sort of walk and going for his bike. Now, we're a caring bunch and we don't like to see anyone get hurt. So we gave him the once over. We thought, he'll probably make it. Put him on his bike, pointed him in the right direction and gave him a gentle push off. What happened next was the fastest destruction of a hire bike in history. Jay proceeded to crash his bike into lampposts, traffic lights, bins, benches, fences, walls, and even the occasional tramp. Basically, anything that was in between us and our apartment, Jay crashed into. He even managed to do a backwards roll with the bike between his legs while we were stood still. It was really spectacular. Anyway, he made it home only slightly damaged, and we all went to bed. If only the same could be said for that bike. The next afternoon, we went down, set back off to the city centre, went in the garage, and in front of us were 10 bikes stood up, all locked together. And on the floor was this one bike that looked very sorry for itself, with bent wheels, a broken chain, 1 pedal, and more scratches than it ever had paintwork. Now, on seeing this, we all laughed and reminisced about the night before and how funny it was. James didn't see the funniest side of it. James flipped, spat his dummy out, and went on a rampage of blame as to who had wrecked his bike. No matter how many of us told him the story about what had happened, James just would not believe us. And I still think to this day he reckons it was someone else.
It wasn't my bike.
And so the second lesson that Jay ever gave to the group, you can actually be too drunk to ride a bike. Thankfully for everyone, Charlotte is now taking care of James. So we can all relinquish responsibility over to her. We can all relinquish responsibility over to her as she firmly places James under her guiding thumb. Apparently, they met at work, which I find very hard to believe, because whenever me and Jay worked together, he never turned up. In fact, we spent most of our time on the journey to work thinking of new excuses as to why we didn't need to go today. Now, Jay, right? Charlotte is probably the best thing that is ever going to happen to you.
There's no probably about it.
Jay Rule, yes. It's a new one, that as well. Jay, Charlotte is probably the best thing that will ever happen to you, so mate, do not screw this up. As your best man and a married man, I thought it best that I impart some wisdom upon you to help you on your way. As I've only been married for 10 months and I'm still technically sitting my theory test, I asked my good friends at Google if they had any advice for you. Firstly, set the ground rules, establish who's boss, and then do everything that Charlotte says. Secondly, whenever you're wrong, be a man. Admit that you're wrong. And whenever you're right, just say nothing. Because as they say, a man who gives in when he is wrong is a wise man, but a man who gives in when he is right is a married man. Thirdly, never ever be complacent. Always remember birthdays, always remember anniversaries. And keep your eye out for the little things in life, like the milkman wearing your socks or the postman calling round on a Sunday. That sort of thing. But fourthly, and probably most importantly for you both, is to remember this one thing. In fact, for this, I think it's best if you both look at each other. James and Charlotte, if you could face each other. Look lovingly into one another's eyes. That's the one. In fact, why doesn't everybody do this? There's plenty of couples here tonight. If you're here tonight with your wife, husband, girlfriend, or boyfriend, if you can just turn and face them and look lovingly into one another's eyes. And while you're doing that, always remember this one fact. Statistically, you're now looking at the person most likely to murder you. It's true. It's actually true. This is the nice bit of this. Now, Jay, you've taken a beating here today, mate, and frankly, you deserve it, pal. But in all seriousness, you've been a great friend to me and all the other lads ever since we met you. We love you like a brother, and our group of mates would be much worse off without you being part of our crew. You're one of the most caring, generous, and loyal people I've ever met. Zach is a very lucky little boy to be able to call you his dad, and whether he turns out to be the future England football captain or a Manchester United striker, he will undoubtedly become a wonderful young man with the guidance of you and Charlotte.
Thanks, mate.
Jay, you're a very lucky man. Is that all Zach gets? That's all Zach gets. Zach! Yes, Zach. Now, Jay, you're a very lucky man. Today you will be leaving here gaining a wife who is caring, loving, thoughtful, and generous. Charlotte, you're a very lucky woman. Today you'll be leaving here having gained a beautiful dress and a lovely bouquet of flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please stand, raise a glass, and join me. Skull, should I pad it out a bit? That's it. Okay.
No,
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to wish James and Charlotte all the luck in the world as they start their married life. No. We wish them success and good health, and that their only ups and downs happen in the bedroom. Ladies and gentlemen, to James and Charlotte.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please enjoy the night. The speeches are done!